If you feel like nothing is working out for you and you have been ignoring these nudges, then I urge you to really journal about this and really see how resistant you've been. Because whenever the feminine resists that surrender, our lives are so much harder than they need to be. You could be playing your way through life. Instead of playing on hard mode, what you are missing is the ability to surrender, the ability to actually follow your intuition, follow the downloads that you're getting, all of the internal nudges that you're getting from God, from the universe, and actually having the courage and the faith to follow them rather than spending all of your time overthinking. Hey babe, and welcome back to my channel. So I want to really incorporate feminine energy today with also up-leveling your life, and one specific situation that I personally have been dealing with, and also so many people come to me with, is I don't know what to do. I'm confused. I have no idea what my purpose is, what my dharma is, which direction I should go with my level up journey, with my feminine energy journey. If you are confused, if you are dealing with overthinking and staying confused and not knowing a clear path, and maybe not even having that clear intuition yet, where you don't know if it's an overthinking thought that's causing you to want to do something, or maybe it is just clear intuition, a download and a nudge from the universe. So first of all, I want to say that the inner work is what will allow you to differentiate this. So first of all, you're probably like, what the heck am I talking about whenever I'm talking about nudges, urges, downloads, desires from the universe, from God? So as I explain this, it is probably going to become very, very clear to you, because this happens to all of us. There's no one that is exempt from this unless you are totally ignoring it purposefully. This most often happens to me. I get these downloads, these ideas, these like really exciting, unique ideas that I'm not getting from anyone else. I'm not coming up with this with my logical mind, but it just comes to me. And it's usually whenever I'm painting, in the shower, on a walk, doing something where I'm not specifically sitting down to brainstorm or think in my mental, logical level, what should I do with my life? What is the next step? Should I do this? If I do it like this, because this person did it like this, then I'll get the result. No, that's on the mental plane. That is not in connection with the divine. That is not in connection with God. Like I mentioned, when you're in the shower, in the bath, on a walk, painting, doing something that you love doing, and you're not intentionally thinking of, okay, what are the next steps in my life? What are the next steps in my level up journey? All this stuff. You are in a state of relaxation and surrender. And this is when these intuitive nudges and downloads can actually come through to you. This is why I talk so much about us being in fight or flight mode, especially as feminine beings, because our fight or flight mode completely blocks us from this intuitive connection with God. And what happens is we actually end up blocking that gift that we have to receive these downloads. Sure, we can try the masculine way of hard working our way towards something, or thinking logically about, I have to completely do these certain steps and these certain things to get this outcome. And sometimes it doesn't even happen. But I believe that many times this is because we're not listening to these downloads. What I've noticed in my own life is that when I actually listen to these downloads and the intuitive desires that God is literally telling me what to do, I get there so much faster and with a lot less of the hard work, which is so interesting, because if I would have just left it up to myself, if I would have just gone with feral brain and thought, well, you know what? I'm so smart. I'm smarter than the universe. I'm smarter than God. So obviously, what's come up in my head that I think I have to do, that maybe I learned from a coach, a very masculine coach, of like, these are the steps to get here, then I'll get the result. Even if it takes me a year, at least I'll get the result, right? Even if I work in corporate for 40 years, at least maybe I'll reach 6 figures and I'll get whatever you get at the end of a corporate job. I don't even know. I don't want to think about it. Sure, I could receive it that way, or I could just listen. I could just listen to God and actually surrender, which is why I want to bring feminine energy into it, because this is the first step. This is something that I really only mentioned in my Quantum Queen initiation program. So if you want it super in depth, definitely go sign up there. Perfect place to start your inner work. But surrender to the universe, surrender to God, and allowing yourself to receive these nudges and this intuition is the easiest way to tap into your feminine energy. Because if we think about it in a relationship dynamic, the feminine is surrendering to the masculine. And the first step to that, I mean, if you can't surrender to the universe, if you can't surrender to God and truly allow that divine connection to lead your life, how can you surrender to the masculine? How can you even trust the masculine to do anything? Because when we do this, we are co-creating with the universe. We're allowing the masculine energy of the universe, because we're the feminine, and we want that polarity there in that connection, whether that be in relationship or in manifestation, or when we talk about these intuitive nudges. The inner work really allows you to differentiate between if this nudge is truly from the divine, or if it's really from the mental level of things, which is likely going to lead you down a harder than it needs to be path that seems safer to the human brain, that seems safer on this logical, linear timeline of things. And oftentimes the downloads that we get are not safe. They're not safe. They don't feel safe. And that's where the faith comes in. That's where the surrender comes in. Many of you are like, why'd you dye your hair? Why'd you dye your hair from blonde? This sounds so weird, but it was a download. It was a download. And what's crazy to me is that when I get these downloads, I just know there's sort of little tidbits of information about who my quantum self is. And so I'll listen to them, even if it's something as random as dyeing my hair. I really didn't want to. Because a lot of the times, you'll do something, especially with your physical appearance, you're like, oh, I want to, I feel like this is fun, this is something expressive I just want to do. That actually wasn't what happened. And so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna listen to this, because it kept coming to me in visualizations. And when I did that, my business actually blew up. It's kind of weird. It's almost like I literally stepped into my quantum self because I surrendered, because I listened. Now, I could have spent months trying to logic my way there, making a YouTube video a day, which is just not me. That's a very masculine way to do things, in my opinion. Maybe that wouldn't be the same for everyone. Maybe you could make a YouTube video a day and it's super fun for you, but for me, that is very exhausting. So I have two a week is my limit, and maybe a live here and there. And that is how I create best. But it's so funny how it works, because if you just follow this laid out path that has been predestined by society of what you're supposed to do to fit in, to be the good little girl, to be the good little girl, to not upset anyone in the process, make sure that you go to college and do this and get a good job and all these things, these steps, right? But it is totally not in alignment with what you want to do. You are fighting the universe to actually co-create with God. You are completely fighting this, and you are telling God over and over and over that you don't have faith, that you cannot surrender to this. You're going to do it your way. You don't care if it makes your life miserable. You're going to hustle your way there in this very masculine energy, because that's what we've been told, right? Hustle, boss babe culture. I outwork everyone and I am so disciplined. It just doesn't work that way for long, at least for most women. And I think men too. Men can totally tap into, selectively tapping into their feminine in this aspect to co-create this. Literally both are necessary. You need the egg and the sperm to create, right? You need the egg and the sperm, the masculine and the feminine, to co-create. So both men and women do need both, but I'm talking specifically about women because of our specific biological hormones that are in our body. We just don't have the testosterone to be able to do this for long periods of time. Men can get away with it more and see less of the physical exhaustion results, the adrenal fatigue, the health issues that arise from this. But for women, unless we are kidding ourselves and completely coping and thinking that, how can I even admit this to myself, because this is what I'm supposed to be doing and my whole life would be a scam if I did, which unfortunately probably has been, but that's okay. Lessons learned, and that is all contributing to your dharma and what you are meant to also help people with. So there is no shame. It is just, let's wake up and realize it, rather than continuing to go down the same path that is destroying us spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. But like I was saying, the funny thing is that the universe will realign you. Something will happen, whether it's a tragic event or, something horrible or that we perceive as horrible at the time happens to you that honestly probably ends up teaching you such a huge lesson or giving you something that you can help other people with. It's all about how you see it in perspective. If you feel like nothing is working out for you and you have been ignoring these nudges, then I urge you to really journal about this and really see how resistant you've been. Because whenever the feminine resists that surrender, our lives are so much harder than they need to be. You could be playing your way through life instead of playing on hard mode and taking years to learn the lessons the hard way, just because you won't surrender and do the inner work. And things might keep happening. Like relationships keep ending or horrible things keep happening to you. But all of this is to push you back onto the feminine path. The reason we do this and that we are so stubborn is because of our human nature. This is not our soul. This is not our divine nature that does this. Our brains can only perceive on a mental level what is within our container, what is within the perimeter, what is within the walls of the comfort zone that we have. We can't even perceive truly what is bigger than that. But our quantum selves can, because everything already is in the quantum field. It already exists for you. You already have it. That's why so many people in the like manifestation community say it's already yours, you already have it. It's not just some like dumb encouraging thing that they're saying. What it really means is that on a soul level, you already have everything. That's why being desperate for something or wanting something is showing that lack. Because why would you want something that is already yours? It is already yours. We just cannot conceive it on the human level of things, because unless it's like, oh, okay, so I do have this phone, it's right here. But you know, a year and a half ago, I didn't have this exact phone. So my mind wasn't really conceptualizing it until it was in my hand, because I can see it physically. And it's like this masculine physical manifestation into reality. And so a big part of this surrender is understanding that we have to trust the things that we are not seeing in our physical reality yet. Because usually the downloads and the nudges and the intuitive guidings are not already formed in physical reality. Yeah, it's very easy to trust that whenever it's already right there for you. But just look at all of the other things in your life that maybe you did have those downloads for. Maybe you did have those intuitive nudges for, and you actually listened to them. And then you see, wow, like that became a physical reality. My timeline caught up to that place in the quantum field, and now it's mine. Now it's mine. And so all this to say, just remember that the physical reality, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, it is a trick of limitation. Our fears do not exist in the quantum field. Our limitations do not exist in the quantum field. Scarcity is not even a concept that would make sense in the quantum field. And just starting to let this activate in your soul can be really mind-blowing. And so take a few days, let this sink in. I go super in depth into this at a beginner to intermediate level in my Abundant Angels course. So definitely hop in there. It's still on pre-launch pricing right now. I'll leave that link below as well. But this concept alone can really start some major shifts for you. So I wish you luck in this. Not that you need it, but I know that it can be really mind-blowing. And I love to be able to bring you this expansion in these videos. So I am praying for your abundance, and I love you so much. I will see you in the next video.